Brad Treliving is getting ready for his first NHL draft, or at least as a general manager of the Calgary Flames. And as you get set for it, what are many of the thoughts that kind of go through your mind? I guess a lot of things are going through your mind as you get set for it.
Well, it's an exciting time. I mean, I think anytime you come to the draft, there's a lot of hope. You know, everybody is excited. You're in the process of you know, the scouts have put in all the work all throughout the year, and anytime you can introduce new young players to your organization, it's an exciting time. So that's how I look at it. I really enjoy the draft, and you know, having gone through the last few days of meetings, our guys are prepared. They've put in the work, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night.
When you look at the number 4 slot, what do you sort of expect or hope will be available for you at that position?
Well, I think we're really well positioned. If we do nothing, we're going to get a good player, and you know, I think there's been a group of 4 that's been talked about, you know, and even more so a group probably of 5 or 6 that I think are really, really good players. The top end of this draft is excellent. So we're excited. You know, you never know how things are going to roll. You never know how things will flow with the draft, and any scenarios of move ups or move downs. But where we are sitting, especially in the first round, we're real excited and comfortable with the player we're going to get.
When you look at the Calgary Flames have never drafted this high, is this sort of an important draft because you really want to be able to get yourself someone who potentially could play next year, and if not next year, soon after that, and for many years to come?
Well, every draft's important, and you're right, Gene. When you start talking about top 5 picks, those are, you know, you've got to hit on those. There's a lot of pain to go through to get a top 5 pick, and you know, as much as talking about next year, obviously, the higher up you are in the draft, the likelihood of those players, history has shown, the likelihood of those players playing is more likely. Our focus isn't getting a guy who's with the sole focus of who's going to play in October. We're looking at the next 10, 15 October, who's going to be the best player. So, you know, the opportunity or the possibility of a player playing in October, that'd be great. Ultimately, the player and his readiness will decide that, but we're looking long term and who's going to be the best player for the Flames moving forward.
And once you get past the draft, then, well, you're already into unrestricted free agency in regards to maybe getting a chance to see some players or talk to them, and then officially on July 1st. What would your wish list be if you have one heading into that day, and then maybe a few days after that, prior to the season, and what you would like to get?
Well, I mean, we're in a position right now where we need a lot of help, and when I say that, we'd like to improve in a lot of areas. Now, free agency is a manner and a method in which you can do that, but I think you do have to be careful too that, as I've said since arriving in Calgary, I think we want to be cautious with free agency and not look at that as the cure-all for building your team. I think there's areas that you can improve. By rule, free agency comes at a cost, whether it be in terms of term of contracts, the dollars of contracts. So those are things that you have to be careful of, but like in every year, there's players in free agency that can help you in certain areas. We've been active in terms of telling our story about Calgary to a lot of the free agents that we may have interest in through this interview period. We'll see where that gets to, but we plan on obviously making some calls come July 1st, and we'll see how we make out.
Well, Brad, thanks for your time and good luck with the draft and then on July 1st.
Thanks very much.